Hello, again I welcome you in this video in the quantum mechanics. So last video I was talking about the Schrodinger equation, time dependent Schrodinger equation, and we have discussed how the equation has been derived by considering the that is de Broglie relation and the Planck's quantum theory or the Planck's hypothesis. So we use this relation lambda equal to h by p, and we use this relation mu equal to E by h. So by considering these two relations and considering this the total energy E equal to p square by 2m plus v, and considering the linearity of the superposition, we use these two, that we consider that electromagnetic radiation consists of the photons, and these photons which have the kinetic energy and the potential energy, we try to write down in terms of the this photon which considered the wave character. So this has been written in terms of the frequency and the wavelength, and we got the Schrodinger equation, that is IH del psi by del t equal to h square by 2m del square psi plus v psi. So this is the Schrodinger equation that we got by considering this total energy, and which has this it satisfies this de Broglie relation and this Planck's relation. So this has been derived by considering this. As we consider the photon as a particle, but it also behaves in the form of the wave packets, and these wave packets have the frequency and the wavelength. So therefore the Schrodinger this is known as the Schrodinger equation, and the Schrodinger equation, on the left hand side of it is the first derivative of this psi wave functions, that is the first derivative with respect to time, and the right hand side which has the second derivative with respect to space. Since the first derivative with respect to time, it is multiplied with the I imaginary number, so that therefore the psi which will say the wave function, it is a complex quantity. So this justifies that the introduction of this term I justified that psi is a complex quantity. So next we'll discuss about the expectation value. So the expectation value of a dynamical variable, that is the mathematical expression, and that is the result of a single measurement, or that is the average of the results of a large number of the measurements on the independent identical system, and that is represented by these identical wave functions. So let us take, we consider this is by the two angular brackets and x. When you represent like two angular brackets with a variable that represent the expected value, and that is the position of the electron along the x-axis in the experimental arrangement. So like the electron diffraction, we find out the position of the electron. So for the single measurement, it is let us take it is x1. Another measurement, we get the position of the electron x2, and like this way we get xn. When you are taking the n measurements, the position of the electrons are like this. So the probability of the finding the electrons between x and x plus dx, that is the probability which is equal to, that is the number of electrons in the position x and dx, number of electrons present in between x and x plus dx, or in the position x and x plus dx divided by total number of the electrons. So and the probability multiplied with the total number of the electrons, total number of the measurements that we are doing, so that gives this number of electrons in the position x and x plus dx. So this n multiplied this probability, and probability, as you know, that integration psi star x psi x dx, which is equal to number of electrons in the position x and dx, that is equal to x1 plus x2 like plus xn. So x1 x2 xn, if we take this n to this side, n, so this represents, this is the average value of the x, average value of the position of the electron. So that is represented in terms of the psi star x psi x dx wave function and its complex conjugate within the interval where we want to find out, and then we are integrating it. So, and the wave function is normalized. So this is the expected value of the position. Similarly, the expected value of the any function, it is find out so we can write down in a nutshell. So expected value of the value of any functions that is being represented, that is fx, which is equal to integration psi star x function psi x and dx. So, and minus infinity to plus infinity, and psi x is normalized. Similarly, the expectation value of the momentum px, we can write down integration minus infinity to infinity psi star x, and px is minus ih del by del x into psi x and dx. And as a and the expected value of the position, that is minus infinity to plus infinity psi star x x psi x dx. So the general formula to find out the expected value means it is mathematically, that is the average value that we find out, and the average value we can obtain by knowing this wave function, and the wave function it should be consistent, it should be normalizable, then only we can find out its average value. Now we will be talking about what is the wave function of the free particle. So next we will talk about the wave function of the free particle. Wave function of free particle. Now the first thing is, what is free particle and how do you determine this is the wave function? Suppose a particle is under the potential, let us take Vx equal to V0, that is you are applying a constant potential to a particle. So if there is a constant potential, then definitely the force acting on the particle, as it is negative gradient of potential dV by dx, if this is constant, it means the force acting on the particle is 0. So therefore this is free particle. So we will call the free particle. So under such constant, if the potential acting on the particle is constant, the force which is the negative gradient of the potential, so if this is constant, so it is 0. So the force acting on the particle is 0. So when the force acting on the particle is 0, then we will say that its energy will be in the form of the kinetic energy. So therefore, if we write down the Schrodinger equation, minus h square by 2m d square psi x by dx square plus v equal to 0. So that is equal to E psi x, or this is written as d square psi x by dx square plus 2m E by h square into psi x equal to 0. just multiply by the cross multiplication, 2m gone there. If we come to this side, so 2me, or if this goes to this side, then 2me by h square equal to 0. So this can be written as d2 psi x by dx square plus k square psi x equal to 0. So this is the second order differential equation. So where k square equal to 2me by h square, or e equal to h square k square by 2m. So do you get that if this is a differential equation, so the solution, it has the two linearly independent solution, that is psi plus minus k equal to e to the power I plus minus I kx. So there is a two eigenfunctions e to the power plus minus I kx for this wave function psi and plus minus k. So k is the wave vector. So eigenfunctions which have the same eigenvalue for a given eigenvalue and eigenfunction equation, that we know on the degenerate. But if we get the, for the different eigenfunctions, we get the different eigenvalues, then we say the non-degenerate eigenvalue. So here the solution will be, solution of this equation will be so the solution of this equation will be, the general solution will be psi x equal to e to the power I kx plus e to the power minus I kx, or it is multiplied with constant and it is multiplied with constant b, where a and b, these two are the arbitrary constant. A, b, these two are the arbitrary constant. So the psi x is physically acceptable. This is the physically acceptable when k cannot have the imaginary part. K cannot have the imaginary part. So because it extends from minus infinity to plus infinity, so exponentially goes on increasing, so it increases up to infinity. So within this range which has been defined minus infinity to infinity, so this imaginary parts are not the acceptable. So wavefronts of the values represented by this, that is we'll take the e to the power plus minus I k x. These are the wavefronts. These are the waves represented by these are the plane waves. These are the plane waves that is perpendicular to the direction of propagation waves. So e to the power plus minus I k x, these are the plane waves. So therefore, and these plane waves, if we extend it from minus infinity to plus infinity, they do not go to 0. So what happens if they do not go to 0? Then we have to normalize it. So these are the unnormalizable. These are the unnormalizable. So if it is unnormalizable, then we multiply with the normalizable factor, and then it is being normalized. So what do we consider? We considered, let us take b equal to 0. One constant equal to 0. So what do we get? We get the wave psi xt equal to e to the power I kx minus omega t. We are considering at any time. This is for the any position x, but if you consider the time, so this becomes e to the power I kx minus omega t. So this psi xt, this wave function of the free particle, so the wave function of this free particle psi xt equal to e to the power I kx minus omega t. So this is associated with the free particle where force is equal to 0 and the potential is a constant. This is a particle moving positive x-axis with a definite momentum of magnitude k. Momentum is k and its energy equal to h square k square by 2m. So the probability density becomes it becomes psi star psi, so which is equal to psi star psi, it becomes modulus a square, which is independent of the position and independent of the time, and this is in accordance with the uncertainty relation. This is in accordance with the uncertainty relation. This is considered by making this b equal to 0. Now consider e equal to 0. So next we are considering that e equal to 0. This is e equal to 0 means it is a plane wave, and when it is moving in the negative x direction. So it is moving in the negative x direction, then also we will get the it will be to the power minus I kx plus omega t. So we will get the same thing. It will have this momentum of magnitude k. Its energy will be h square k square by the 2m. But if you write down in terms of the momentum wave function for the free particle, then it can be written as psi xt equal to e to the power I kx minus omega t. So this wave function, for the momentum wave function, it is written as we know that p equal to hk and e equal to, that is h bar into omega. You put the value of the k here, so k equal to p by h and omega equal to e by h. So psi xt, it becomes e to the power I k, means you take I by h, then px minus et. So this is the momentum wave function for the free particle, where the momentum equal to p equal to plus minus hk and its energy equal to h square k square by 2m. So now we will discuss about the what are the postulates. So this was about the free particle, under which condition it is considered to the free particle, and if it is free particle, then what is its wave function and what is its the momentum wave functions. Now we will come to the what are the postulates of the quantum mechanics. So next is our postulates of the quantum mechanics. Number one, that every dynamical variables uh, that is it is associated with the system, it can be measured, and it provides the information about the system at a particular point in space and the time. So we represent, to get the information of the system, we consider a wave function psi x, y, z, and t, and this is it is a complex quantity. This wave function is a complex quantity, and it is consistent with the Heisenberg uncertainty relation. Consistent with Heisenberg uncertainty relation. Heisenberg uncertainty relation, and it gives the all information about the system. And that is number 2, the total energy in number 2 postulate, the total energy of the system it is represented by the Hamiltonian operator, that is equal to kinetic energy P square by 2m plus V x, y, and g. This is the potential energy and this is kinetic energy, and that is the total energy of the quantum mechanical system. So similarly, these variables which are used to measure the properties of the system, those variables are represented by the operators. Number 3, all observable in the quantum mechanical system, they are represented by the operators. Observables and the operators. In quantum mechanics, we will use these operators. So these operators, like if the observables are positions x, y, z, so it is represented as x, y, and z. If it is the position of we want to find out the position of the particles in the coordinates x, y, z, that will be represented x operator, y operator, and the z operator. Similarly, the momentum, it will be represented by minus IH del operator. Similarly, the energy, that is IH del by del T. Similarly, the total energy, Hamiltonian, that is minus H square by 2m plus V, potential energy. So this wave function that we use in the quantum mechanical system, which gives the total information of the system, it has to satisfy the Schrodinger equation, and Schrodinger equation is H psi equal to E psi, and H psi equal to E psi means H is the Hamiltonian operator, so that is H square by 2m plus V multiplied with this wave function, that is equal to E psi. So this Hamiltonian operator which acts on this wave function, that gives the energy of the system. So when we are measuring the energy of any quantum mechanical system, so we take the Hamiltonian operator, we acts on the that operates on this Hamiltonian operator acts on this wave function, and it gives the energy. So energy is find out by using this formula H psi equal to E psi. And number 4, so the fourth is this wave function should be well behaved. Well behaved. Now what does it mean? It means that this psi and its first derivative del psi by del x, it should be finite and continuous. Finite and continuous. And finite continuous, and it should be single valued. Single valued. That is the meaning of the that psi should be well behaved. So that should be, the wave function should be finite, continuous, and a single valued. And how do you come to know that it is finite, continuous, single valued? By observing this getting the value of the function and it's the first derivative. Then number 5, that it is normalized. The wave function should be normalized, means psi star psi over the volume, that is equal to 1. And the average value of the any quantum mechanical operator, it is represented like this: psi star psi d tau. And this psi number 7 possibly, if psi n are the eigenfunction and Cn square is the probability of finding the particle in the eigenstate psi n. This is the Cn square, the probability of finding the particle in the eigenstate psi n. So this is written as psi equal to summation of Cn psi n. So where this Cn square, summation of Cn square equal to 1, means C1 square, C2 square, C3 square. So this is nothing, this constant that we are multiplying, this is the probability of finding the particle in the eigenstate. This is the probability of finding the particle in the given eigenstate. So these are the postulates that we use in the quantum mechanics. So any quantum mechanical system when you are going to study, then these are the postulates that we use. Okay, thank you.